YouTube land, and welcome to Leah's Homemade Crafts. This is take 2. I did a video last night, but it was a bit heavy, and it was not quite what I'm ready to share the whole journey of my illness yet. Plus also we have some very rowdy neighbours. I live in government housing, and unfortunately sometimes my neighbours decide that midnight is a really good time to have a party, and so all the way through the video all you could hear is them yelling and shouting. So I decided to scrap yesterday's videos and start again. So this is Leah's Homemade Crafts Chit Chat episode number 4. 3? Hang on a minute. Let me have a look. 3. You'd think I'd know that, wouldn't you? So today I want to talk about whips and my hospital whips and a couple of acquisitions and just a general chit chat. But I'll start off with my acquisitions because they're pretty cool. So last Monday was my birthday, not yesterday, the Monday before, and my brother and sister-in-law sent my present via my parents, so I received it on Sunday, and I wanted to share it with you because my sister-in-law did well. Dan, I know that it was all Karen, so, but thank you anyway. But this is one of the presents, so it's 100 flowers to knit and crochet, and oh my gosh, have a look at that. And then, if that's not enough, there's more of the same, and they're a bit of a replica of these, but oh my golly. So it ranges from giving you instructions on abbreviations and English and American terminology, notes on how to knit. There's also notes on how to crochet. And then we come to the flowers, and oh my golly gosh. It says a directory of flowers, and without a word of a lie, have a look at that. Instruction section, pages 46 to 107. Holy dooly, there are flowers for every make, model and shape that you want to use. There are rosebuds, there are pelargoniums, there's Irish roses, there's carnations, there are, oh golly, what else have we got? Asters, pansies, lavender, all sorts of poppies, poinsettias, carnations, chrysanthemums, it's carnations both knitted and crocheted, daffodils both knitted and crocheted, acorns and different leaf things. Look, honestly, fruit and veggies. Seriously, fruit and veg. I mean, have a look at that. Look at those grapes. How gorgeous. So there's a little bit of everything. So you can bet that I am going to be having some serious fun with this. Now, I'm not a big knitter. I knit scarves occasionally, but that's pretty much my repertoire. I have been known to knit 10 by 10 centimetre squares to go towards a blanket that some workmates and I were working on many years ago. So I do that sort of thing, but I'm not really an adventurous knitter. But I am going to try some of these, including those beautiful carnations. I love carnations, and I figure if I can do some of these flowers in crochet, and I might make myself a pretty little bunch of flowers and have them around the house to cheer things up a little bit. So there's, you know, it goes from, so I'll show you what they do. They go from basic designs in knitting to basic designs to intermediate designs to, where are we? Advanced designs. And then we fast forward to crocheting, and the same deal, basic, intermediate, advanced. But I love any book or magazine or anything that includes the diagrams. Anything that gives me the diagram, like I can read a pattern, no problem at all. But oh my gosh, I love reading. I love diagrams. They just, oh, a pattern wins brownie points every time with me if they've got that. So this book, tick, 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 and I can't wait, Karen, to start using it. So that's acquisition number one, present number one. But present number two, anyone who knows me and knows my story of my journey so far knows that I tell everyone that my recovery from my major operations are that I'm a turtle, like the turtle in the race between the hare and the turtle, and slow but steady wins the race. And my sister-in-law, God bless her, look at that. It's a little turtle. Oh, there we go. It's a turtle. And I've got a charm bracelet that I've been wearing that I had from many, many years ago. So that's going on the charm bracelet. I can't wait. So that's acquisition number one. Number two was the most current version to date in Australia of the Let's Get Crafting, Knitting and Crochet magazine. I love this magazine. But the thing I love best about this magazine, and I put them away today, but the thing I love best about this magazine is that every month you get, or every 2 months, you get a pack of yarn and the crochet hook and the knitting needles to make the patterns included in the magazine. And as usual, this magazine is filled with lots of goodies. And Heather, if you're watching this, look at this. Utterly fun. Look. So they may have to get made. I don't know. There's a market bag. There's a piglet. They're all crocheted patterns. There's a couple of knitted patterns. There's a lion. There's... Oh, do you remember, those of us over a certain age, when you used to... Maybe we did it whenever we went on holidays. Occasionally I would go to the local... newsagents or craft store in the holiday town that we were visiting, and they used to have dolls in matchboxes. Well, this is the pattern for the doll in the matchbox. So I think I might have to do that because that just takes me back to my childhood. So I'll definitely be doing that one. And the one thing I will be doing with this magazine is this crochet along. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? So I shall have some fun with that. But anyway, so that's my other acquisition. I also was at our local Kmart recently, and I found llama slippers. Have a look at those. Aren't they gorgeous? Oh, the light's not the greatest. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can. Look at that. How good is that? So they it's a bit warm here yet still to use those, but they will be getting a workout, you can bet your bottom dollar. So they're my acquisitions to date. They're my goodies. What I have been doing, I've got a finished object, and I've got another one that's a whip at the moment, but Whistle and Ivy, I'll put the link in the description down below, do these wonderful key fobs. So it's just all half double crochet and single crochet, and you do 2 lots. You do one inside, like 2 individuals inside the link here, and then you stitch them all together around the outside. But I'll put the link in the description below. It is honestly easy as, I think it took me not even an hour. And I'm in the middle of the second one, which I've literally started while I was waiting for my son to finish doing the dishes so that I could start the next one. So it's literally 2 individuals, you link them together and stitch them on. So easy. I mentioned in my last video that I have some whips that I take to the hospital with me, or to medical appointments. When you have to go backwards and forwards to doctor's appointments all of the time, you need something to keep you sane while you're sitting waiting and waiting and waiting in doctor's surgeries that just take forever. So I have 2 projects that go with me just to spice things up a bit. The first one is using ombre light, and it's the super simple shawl by Marley Bird. As you see, I write everything I'm doing on the ball wrappers so I don't forget. So that's that. It's the colorway Midnight. It's a number 2, so I suppose that you guys call that a fingering weight, I think. I don't know. We just call it very fine cotton here in Australia. I don't think it has any particular name, but that's the ball I'm working on at the moment. And this is what I've done so far. Now, I don't think it's going to be a particularly large shawl, so what I've decided is that I think I saw you can also get this same ball in a red and a black. I'm hoping I saw right. If not, I'll have to change my colour scheme. But my thinking is that I'm going to do another 2 in a contrasting colour and have this as the middle triangle, and then sew another 2 triangles on either side to make it a larger shawl. But it's perfect size and weight for sitting in a doctor's surgery in summer where sometimes the air conditioning gets a bit bloody cold. So this is my project, one of my projects that goes with me. And the other one I've been working on for a bit longer, and it's something that I'm just really enjoying working on slowly. It's the Rustic Lace scarf by Highland Hickory Designs. It is meant to be a 1 ball project, but I couldn't help myself, and I really loved what I was working on, so it kept growing and growing and growing. And instead of using a light fingering weight or a light lacy material, I used the Karen cotton cakes because I wanted a summer scarf for Australia that, not so much for summer but for autumn and spring, where you just need that little bit sometimes around your neck, but you don't want it too heavy. So this is what I've been working on, and it has grown and grown and grown, and I'm on my 4th cake. So this is the pattern. Sorry, it's a bit hard to. It's just so easy, and it's literally just repeat row after row after row. So I've been working on that now for a good 2 months. When I finish this ball, that'll be it. I've got an appointment with my daughter on Thursday, so I'm thinking it'll be finished then. And when it is, I'll let you know. But I haven't worked out whether I want to put tassels on the end of it or not, but we'll see. So that's my other shawl. As I said, I spend so much time in doctor's appointments, not only for myself but also for my children, that sometimes I just need something just to take my mind off what we're doing and why we're where we are, and that helps. So yeah, but the other thing I wanted to talk about is my journaling. I journal like crazy, and I know this video is a bit all over the shop, but it's just a little bit about a little bit of everything and touching base. But I like to journal. I usually have journals to, that talk about what's happening with me and my thoughts and my feelings and all that sort of stuff. And then I have another journal for my food, which I'm usually religious about, but I've been a bit naughty lately. And I write everything that I eat and my reactions and all that sort of stuff. And that helps to keep a track on what I should and shouldn't be having, what's working well, what's not working. But I then transitioned it to crochet. And so this is my crochet journal. And yes, I have a tragic Keith Urban Graffiti U sticker because I am I just love him. Love, love, love him. And so in it I have post-it notes where I've seen a shawl or something that I want to make and I write it on there. Then I have the March Bingo, which I'm slowly working on. I have a plan to do a 12-month temperature blanket, but we'll see what happens there. I have a list of all the varying different books that I want to buy and or download from my Kindle. I have a list of, this was in the early days, of all of the varying different stitches that I wanted to learn how to make. I literally go crazy. I have the dimensions of crafting bags that I want to make. Just bags that I brainstormed and went, oh, I really like that look, and if I did something like that, so yeah, I do that. So it's a hodgepodge of all different bits of paper. There is business cards, but I think I've got to find a better way of storing those. And then it goes to all different patterns that I've made up or that I've seen someone else do but I haven't quite liked, so I've tweaked it a bit. It's different stitches so that I know sometimes with my illness my memory's not the greatest, and so I found that if I do something, write it down, do something, write it down, I tend to remember it. And it's all about that, keeping that working memory going. So there's a lot of that in there. There's ideas for, I want to do a granny square sand and seed blanket, so I've written notes on what I want, what colours I want to use and how I want to write it, like lay it out. What else have I got in here? A bag and a bowl pattern. One of them is the market bag by Crafting with Claudie. She has a YouTube video. I'll put a link to that down below, which is really good, but I wasn't quite happy with how mine turned out, so again I had to tweak it. But she gets the, whenever I post them, she gets the credit because it started from her ideas. It's everything. There's a bit of everything in here, right down to how I make my poppies, because I've tweaked mine a little bit. Look, honestly, tips and tricks, and oh golly, I think I've got everything in here. Yarn stores that I want to visit in New South Wales and Sydney. Blogging tips from various different blogs that I've read. You know, I have my 2019 crochet resolutions. So, learned corner to corner, learned Tunisian, commence and finish a cowl, shawls. I think I've done that already. Organise and record my stash. I really need to do that. Scrap gans. I've got a really nice pattern by Coastal. I can't think of her name, but I'll put a link down below. It's an absolutely beautiful cowl, scrap gan. So, yeah. So I'm having, and one of the other ones was start a blog and start a YouTube channel. So tick and tick. So I've done a few of those, and then I did some sewing lessons, so I obviously then had to write all about that. So it literally has a bit of everything in here. And then, not to be outdone, I then started a YouTube journal. So every time I do every time I do an episode, I write down what I'd like to do in the episode. and then what I've learnt from doing it and how I can do it better next time. So I'm a bit anal about doing these sorts of journals, but you know, I find one, they help keep my thoughts centered, but they also give me that outlet of being able to brainstorm and hopefully evolve and grow from there. So if you journal, I'd love to hear all about your journaling experiences and what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And if you would like and you're happy to, I'm happy to share, you know, do another post on journaling. I'm actually, as I said previously, a counsellor, and so I actually work with clients in journaling and how to journal to be able to centre thoughts, particularly when they're scattered all over the place, you know, due to anxiety or depression or a mental illness. So yeah, if you've got any tips and tricks on what you do in journaling and you're happy to share them, just pop them down below, and I'll do another podcast in relation to that, because I'd really like to do some podcasts centered around mental health and how we can work towards having a more stable mental health, because I think that's important for all of us, in, you know, our day-to-day life, in our relationships, in a whole range of ways. But anyway, so that's me for the moment. I'm still plodding along. Oh, I forgot one extra acquisition. My mother bought me, we were at a local homewares store, and we came across this beautiful mug. It's got my beautiful May Gibbs babies on it, and the eucalyptus blossoms, and then the Baronia, and more cheeky little gumnut babies, and a beautiful dragonfly, and some more blossoms and babies. So yeah, that was my other acquisition, and I must say it holds a mean cup of tea. So I hope your week's going well. I know it's probably just started for many of you on the other side of the world, but I hope that this week is kind to you. Keep crafting, keep crocheting, have fun, and God bless.